So at all anymore?
No.
No. Okay, I got you there.
I retired.
Got you. Okay.
I retired from
Because he also
hung up my
wrestles sometimes.
singlet.
He wrestles. He used to wrestle a little bit.
I'm not
so-
about to wrestle you, but
Yeah.
what we are going to wrestle is a great conversation.
Yeah.
And with that, welcome to the Maybe It's Me podcast, episode 27. It's Nick, of course, across the way from me, a little different, usually to my left, my dog Devin.
Devin.
And we have a great surprise guest out of nowhere, Mr. Eric Crutchfield.
Yeah, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
truly
definitely.
being with us.
Crazy 48 hours, honestly.
It has been
It
a
really
while.
is, just for
48
us,
hours.
because you might be used to this, but we're not used to this. So
Yeah.
we was just making things happen. It's cool.
I
This is the
appreciate
first time
y'all,
that we've
man.
had to spin an interview like this. We appreciate you coming down to San Antonio. So for those that have never heard that name, Eric Crutchfield before, Eric, you want to kind of let us know what you are about, what you're doing. We'll get into a lot of conversations. This story is amazing. But go ahead and just give us a small sample of that real quick and let them know what you do.
Yeah, I'm just a real estate developer based out of Dallas, Texas, teaching people how to make 6 and 7 figures through real estate development per deal.
It's
That's what I do now.
And it looks like you're doing it really, really well.
Yeah,
Because it's
thank you.
been about 5 years. Is that right?
That's right.
And
All over.
and you don't usually see that ramp up happen from what I've seen.
Yeah.
That
Take
quickly.
some time.
Yeah, I've had a crazy rise.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So the first thing I like to ask on the podcast, and you just let me know, any answer you got is awesome. How was your last week? And I'll kind of let you know why I like to ask that question. I spoke to you earlier, and I told you we like to just have ourselves a little bit of accountability in life. Asking somebody how their last week was can tell a lot about that person. They answer it just like, "Oh well, it's all right," or "I didn't do really much."
Yeah.
You can kind of see that they're in that monotony that I was explaining to you of that life
Right.
cycle, right? So even if it's just chaotic, that's okay too. At least you're beating on that drum, right?
Yeah.
So how was your last week?
I mean, it was good. It's pretty much the same as all the weeks, making progress. A lot of students of mine actually closed on land and one of them got their permit. I think actually 2 of them got their permit and one of them closed on land. So
Okay.
that's cool. And then I got 2 demo permits. So, small little successful things happen definitely.
So when somebody closes on or gets their permit, how big is that in the real estate world? Is that a big deal? Just to kind of shine a light on it. Like maybe for somebody new. Let me ask
So-
you, like one of your students.
In Dallas, it used to take like 3 to 4 months to get your permits, right? You got to design your plans. You got to get your architectural plans, your foundation plans, your green and energy, and then packet it all together, submit it to the city, and go back and forth with the city for 3 or 4 months. So it's a pain in the ass. So when you get them, you're
definitely
like,
sounds
fuck
like
yeah,
it.
I got them. So it's a little bit of a process. But he got them within a month. So yeah, the city of Dallas has sped up the process a little bit. And it's
Okay.
good news because I have 2 of them right now I'm waiting on. So we just got our demo permits back, and now we're on to the next
Beautiful.
step.
Yeah.
So
What is the
Make-
next step?
make
What's the
them-
demo permit? Just a demo?
yeah, they just
Yeah.
they made me get my demo permit first before I could go on to get my building permit. So sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. I had already demoed the home, so
It was just another little step in the process,
Yeah.
a little checklist. Okay.
So
So, yeah.
side story, Devin, you're kind of nerding out right now on what he's saying.
I don't know. I mean, I work construction at public infrastructure, so I do underground utilities. Specifically, I do like her company does underground facilities. So if it goes in the ground, we install it. But I specifically do like water and treatment facility plants and sewer stuff. So it's like I understand like we don't do the exact same, but I understand like having to get plans and architectures and like get permits and doing all that stuff and like understand that there's a flow of construction. That everything's a checklist of things you got to do before it doesn't just come out beautiful
Exactly.
at the end of the day.
Everything's a
It takes
process, so-
Oh yeah.
daily wins, man. Small progress, small steps.
Absolutely. There's days I'll call you, and this I've heard him mad as hell just because something got held up, and so we try to call each other daily just to chop it up. And he's like, "You wouldn't fucking believe what San Antonio."
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, man, I don't know anything about that, but hopefully it's getting better.
And you said you teach or coach or what do you?
Yeah, so I just started coaching and teaching real estate development because I don't know a little bit about my story. I went to prison for 7.5 years. I got out, been out for like 5 years, a little over 5 years now. And I've had this crazy rise to success, Got a lot of cool shit, make a lot of money. And so a lot of people were asking me like, hey, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? How'd you do it? I never had on my goal list that I was going to be a coach or a teacher, right? It was always like, I want to own, 1,000 houses and I want to make this amount of money. So, but people just kept asking me, hey, how'd you become so successful, right? You were in prison like not that long ago. Like, how are you driving a McLaren right now? So this year in January, I was like, man, let me just have a class where I teach how I did it, you know?
Okay.
And so I told my girl, I was like, man, if I sell 10 tickets, you know, it's going to be a successful thing. So
Yeah.
so I put it out there just on a whim, like, and I sold 40 tickets, like, right off the bat. But I had already known that there was a demand there, you know what I mean? So yeah, I was successful, and then I had that event, man. Everybody was interested in it. So I kept having events February, March, and then I just started coaching, you know, like probably maybe May, June. I think, no, probably June, July. I started like actually coaching and mentoring people. So that's what I do now. You know, I'm trying to give back.
That's awesome.
Trying to help out because I still see a lot of people. We talked a little bit about it, but they just settle, you know, and get comfortable and settle for mediocrity. You know, I've never been that person. I've always like pushed and pushed and pushed and try to elevate myself. And when I get comfortable, it like bothers me. You know, obviously I'm in San Antonio for my son's soccer game, and I'm sitting right here with you two on a podcast. So if you know my work ethic, man, I'm always down to work, and just wherever I'm at, doesn't really matter. It's tough for me to just sit down like for vacation, like, or anything. This isn't vacation, but if I go on vacation, I'm down to work, you know. So
For sure.
that's the kind of person I am.
What about, like, take us to the beginning of it all real quick, because you said you had that drive is it from childhood that you felt that when you were growing up? Was it always like, I gotta push for more?
I don't know exactly when it was that it started, but I've always been like an entrepreneur, and I've always wanted to make a lot of money.
Yep.
So my dad had a stroke at 36 years old, and he lost his speech. So he lost his job. Mm-hmm. So I was 13, and he needed money. Yeah. So he started a landscaping. It was called B&E's Lawn Care. So it was Brent and Eric.
Okay.
So it was like my first entrepreneurial like thing, and that's what we did. And we built it up to like 72 lawns, and we were mowing all. So I did that from basically 13 all the way up to like 18, maybe basically 19, something like that, you know? And so that was kind of my entrepreneurial journey, and that I was always making money on my own. I never really I had jobs and shit, but because I was doing that summer, and then I would go to school and maybe I'd get like a job, but I hated working for people, you know? I can't stand working for people, right. You know what I mean? So I would say maybe that's when it started. And then that kind of just, you know, I work all summer, and I have plenty of money, and I buy whatever I want, you know, and some of my other friends, they wouldn't work. But me, you know, I'm like putting lift kits and subwoofers and stuff in my car. And like I have all the shoes, and like I can just spend money however I want, right? Because I'm working for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably what kind of fueled my fire way back then.
That's dope.
And then, got into friends with the wrong people, and that's when life started going the wrong direction. Yeah. And started selling drugs and stuff like that. So
but I was still like a little after high school, or like in high school? What would you say that?
Yeah, it was after high school, like right as soon as I graduated, like I moved out and got on my own. I was still 17.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And you never had a dream of college or anything like that?
No, I actually went to college because like my grandparents wanted me to go, and they would pay for it. And so like
you got the
yeah, I went my first semester. I made 3 Fs and a D. The D was in psychology, and I was like, man, this shit is not for me. So yeah, that was it. That was my college.
Hey, I was the same way. I went and did a little community college, San Antonio, they call it Northeast Lakeview. Did 2 semesters, and I realized quickly it wasn't for me, dog.
You made it further than me.
I had to bow out quick gracefully.
Yeah.
So I know there ain't no shame in it for sure. So that's awesome, man. So I mean, did the college route, and then right after that, you're trying to figure out a way to eat.
Yeah, I actually just started. I was working out a lot, and I started taking steroids, and I guess you could say I started selling steroids to pay for the steroids I was taking. Okay. And then that kind of just like the people I was hanging out with, I started selling to everybody, and I started making a lot of money. Okay. Yeah. So it's crazy. I'm in San Antonio. Yeah. And the only other time I came to San Antonio when I was like 18, and I used to smuggle drugs across Laredo. Okay. I used to go down there to the pharmacy and get a bunch of steroids in my backpack, and I would rent. I was only like 18, 19. I did this like 18, 19, 20. I would fly to San Antonio, rent this like Camry. I had to have a certain car, and I had to get it from a certain renter because I was under 25. and then I would drive to Laredo. I would go through the first checkpoint. I'd park the car, and then I'd walk through the second checkpoint with my backpack and like my notepad of all the orders from everybody. I'd go to the pharmacy. They knew me. Give them the cash. Got the stuff, and then I would meet a mule. This pharmacy would like hook you up with a mule. A mule is somebody that takes the drugs across the first border.
A smuggler, yeah.
So then we would go tape it all on him, and I would walk like 30 feet behind him. We would meet on the other side of the checkpoint, and then I would put it all in my backpack, put it in the car, and then I would drive up into the second checkpoint. But then I would stop before the second checkpoint, and I had to get that specific car so I could take down the ceiling, because it was really easy to take down the ceiling, and that's where I taped it all into the ceiling. I would put the liner back up. And then I would go through the second checkpoint. And then I would drive all the way to Oklahoma.
So there's a reason, like, meeting you is a little nerve-wracking, I ain't gonna lie. You didn't seem nervous at all. I can understand why. Like, your anxiety left when you was doing all that.
Yeah.
You don't have anxiety anymore, do you? You don't get nervous.
It's crazy because somebody just brought that up to me. I was on another podcast. And the dude was like, man, you have like the just most chill demeanor about you. Like, you just seen too much shit.
Yeah. No, you could
and
tell.
I was like, yeah, that's probably.
Did you have anxiety the first time you tried all that?
What?
Because I wouldn't have been able to get it in the roof. I'd have gave up at the roof part.
I mean, yeah, I did. I remember one time, I got checked every single time.
Yeah.
They checked me every time.
Yeah.
But they would have the dogs, and like, you can't smell steroids. So. Yeah. And I would always be on the phone with my girlfriend. I'd be like, "Fuck! Look, I think they're looking up there. Oh no! Oh shit! Oh no! Oh, we made it! You know." So yeah.
Was there ever a close call?
The first time was a close call. The very first time I did it. The very first time I went with a friend, he had like a 18-wheeler, and we just like threw it in the back, and like they never searched us. So the second time was like just me solo, but the first time for me solo. Well, I just rented a car and I just drove it across. I just lifted back the trunk and I just threw it behind the carpet and I just drove across. They searched me.
Oh.
And I was like, fuck, they searched me, right? I didn't think they searched, you know?
Right.
I was just naive to it. Yeah,
you go right through, yeah.
Well, they searched me. And the dude searched the back, and he pulls it where it is, and he pulls it, and he goes like this, and he's like, "You're good. You can go ahead."
He like didn't realize what he saw.
And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Did it give you a sense of like?
I'm on the phone, like, dude, I'm about to go to jail. Come down here and get me, right?
Yeah, bail
I told my girl, grab the money and come get me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, fuck. So I get in the car and I drive. I stop at the first gas station. I'm like, did I even put it there? You know, did I forget? I mean, am I just going crazy? So I go to the back and trunk. Well, when you grab it, you can grab one sheet of carpet thing or you can grab two. Well, I threw it in the middle of, I just grabbed one and threw it in the between. He grabbed both and pulled it.
He was thorough. You weren't.
Wow.
So I guess he didn't see them all, you know?
That's a lucky record. That's dope, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have me nervous.
So anyway, yeah, that was pretty crazy back then. But I don't get too nervous, man. I've seen so much stuff from.
There's no way you can, especially when you start like that.
I mean,
how long did you run steroids for?
For a long time.
Long time?
Yeah, probably until I went up to prison.
Okay.
I went to prison when I was 27 to 35.
Okay. And
that's like a prime age to be locked up, man. That's terrible.
And I was acting crazy from 17 to 27. So
you pretty much like, so we talked about college, got out, and then you said you started, like, I guess, getting heavy into working out, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I was a wrestler, so, you know, I'm always in the gym. And I think I, you know, started doing steroids to give me the extra edge, you know. Gotcha. And some of the people I was hanging out with were big, and so we just started doing it.
Stuff like that. So you're doing that, and then so we hit prison. So a lot of stuff happens in between that time. Walk us through.
A lot of dumb stuff happened in between. I basically wasted my life from 17 all the way up to 35.
Hey, it sounds like
you made up well. Like, you made up well. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna say, it sounds like you're doing at least.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I was selling drugs, making a lot of money. So I mean, I had a good life. You know what I mean? It was just a risky life, right? Doing the bad stuff. You know. But I had cars and stuff back then.
That prison, was it ever a thing to you when you got sentenced you see it coming? Like as far as like the way you were living life, was it something that you always had in the back of your mind that could be a possibility, or were you on the invincible side? Like, because you hear a lot of times people in your situation that run that lifestyle, they feel invincible or
bulletproof. Yeah,
they feel bulletproof, or they're kind of just like nonstop cautious, paranoid. Where would you say your headspace was?
Yeah, I definitely think, like, well, I'm not going to get caught. But regardless of that, you know what's going to happen if you do get caught, and you're still willing to take the chances.
Yeah.
So, you're taking penitentiary chances every time you do whatever, because I sold other drugs sometimes also, pills and ecstasies and weed, whatever. I'll sell whatever, right? But my main stuff was steroids. But yeah, every time you're driving to meet somebody, like, hey, you can get pulled over and get, a felony, and go to prison. So you do feel invincible, but there is that kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was there a point like where you were telling yourself, I need to pivot to something legal, or was it just not even a thought?
Yeah, like I actually always was drawn to real estate.
Okay.
I just had no education, no knowledge. I didn't know how. I even told my mom, like, Mom, I'll pay for it. Like, put it in your name. Like, let's buy a house. I'll pay for it all. And she's like, I'm not putting it in my name. I know what you do, like, so, and you're just caught up with the wrong people. You're not learning. You're not, pursuing any kind of education and stuff. And this is kind of before, I guess, like, podcasts were big and YouTube was big and like the internet and all that stuff, When I got out of prison, it was like,
A whole new world.
yeah, like they knew exactly where I was on my phone.
Yeah.
I was like, the fuck? They know I'm right here, right now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can push a button and the car's gonna come immediately to me.
Yeah, it's
like
insane.
So
That's a wild feeling. That has to be crazy. So you're in prison. I've heard on other podcasts, watching you, that you have all these blueprints of business, but they're the bad ones.
yeah.
So you're a business savvy guy as far as like you already said you have to constantly be working. Like
Yeah.
you can't sit still.
I've always been a hustler,
Right?
like always wanted to make a lot of money and be my own boss. I never want to work for anybody. Definitely. But yeah, the first 2.5 years I was in prison, man, I was just still scheming on ways to make a lot of money, leveraging the people around me at the time. And well, I'm with all criminals, so I'm like, yeah, I clicked up with this one guy, and like he's like the best fucking motorcycle thief known.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I can steal 30 bikes a day. I'm like, okay, well, shit, hold on.
Let me do the math real quick. Let me see what I can do. Yeah.
I'll go get a warehouse in San Antonio and Austin and Dallas, and we'll put a little coalition together, and we'll fucking.
I'm the dumbass that's like, why would I listen to you? We're both locked up right now.
Yeah, for real. And I was like, okay, I can keep all the brand new frames at this warehouse, and we'll steal them all here. We'll dismantle them at this warehouse. We'll ship them up here, and then we'll swap the frames, put the engines. And I had it, and I was like, all right, we'll make $1.5 million a month. We can do it. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then I'll start reading shit, like business books, trying to figure that out. But yeah, that all changed when I read this book by Tony Robbins that said Awaken the Giant. And it just like, I don't know why it changed. Maybe it was divine.
Yeah.
But something changed in me, and it just has you doing all kinds of different exercises and stuff. And it's just like, I talk about it a lot on my podcast, but that's definitely the moment where I remember just being like enlightened to a different way of life. Like maybe I was just sick of the other life, whatever it was, I don't know what it was, but I just remember it so vividly that it was just like, all right, I'm not going the other route. I 100% am going real estate, and I'm going to fucking make it happen. Yeah. And that's all there was to it from that point on. So I was locked up like 2.5 years, and, I did almost 7.5 years. So it was like the next 5 years, just real estate, business, personal development.
Yeah.
That was it.
How was it on the inside, reaching out to the outside? Because like, when you study something, when you study a craft for so long, 5 years is a long time to study. How are you getting ready to prepare for yourself to get out? Like, because, correct me if I'm wrong, you're serving 10, but you got out in 7. Is that correct?
So what's crazy is I got sentenced to 10 years in prison, but I wasn't charged with aggravated manslaughter. It was just manslaughter. So I was eligible for parole at 15 months.
Gotcha.
And then I was up for parole every year after.
Okay.
Because at 15 months, so you kind of have hope that you're like, oh, I'll be out in 15 months, right? And I've already done 10. You know, I was in county like 12. So I went to prison. I was like, well, fuck, I'm up for parole, you know, in like 2 months. Yeah. So like you always have that hope. And then you get a set off. A set off is like a 1 year, like extended.
We're not going to basically see you.
Yeah, exactly. You have 1 more year. We see you next year. So then you're like, fuck, okay, I got 12 more months. So then you just put in your mind like, okay, I got 12 months. Here's what I got to do. Need some books, need this. Let's get me back on my regimen. You know, you kind of.
So you never got discouraged by not getting your parole every year, like
whereas
like sometimes
it hit. Like I'm extremely faithful. Jesus Christ. I have a strong belief system, and it actually started hitting me like my relationship with Him probably after my like 4th and 5th set off. Okay. I was like, fuck, man, you know, because I was going to church every Sunday, like, and then I just kept getting set off and watching my son grow up from my pictures. You know, and like my family, and it was just like, what the fuck, you know, I'm doing everything. I'm staying out the way. I'm staying out of trouble. I'm reading the Bible every single day. I go to church every single Sunday, all this, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, I definitely was getting discouraged, and it was taking a toll on my faith as well. So, I mean, obviously I got the faith back now, but I do remember at that time, I was like, man, maybe this set off, I'll fucking not go to fucking church. You know what I mean? Maybe I won't read the Bible at all this year. Maybe I'll do something different because I've been doing it and it's not working. So yeah, it kind of sucked, but glad to have all that back and strengthened. So yeah, I definitely have been discouraged, man. After so many setups, I got 6 of them. You're like, man, what the fuck? That's me. Like, what is it?
So I know you said like going 2.5 years in prison, you were kind of still thinking not on the right path, I guess is what you want to say. Yeah. So do you think like, when you say in your faith, do you say like in your faith, like you were released at the right time? Like you're kind of, where do you not regret being,
that's
you know,
like
5 years, you know, at 5 years instead of 7 years, you know, would you be where you are, what you're doing, or I don't,
you know, you never know, but I know if I would have got out of 2 years, I wouldn't be here.
You wouldn't be doing it.
You know? So, because I was still criminal mind, everything, you know. So I like to tell everybody, I'm happy it happened. I just wish it didn't happen for that long. Right. Maybe like 4 years.
Yeah.
You know,
you
or half. Yeah, 3.5. So.
It's like a scripture I can't remember exact words, but it's like we can make our plans, but God will make our steps.
Exactly.
Like, dude, I live like that all the time as far as just like, why isn't this happening now?
Like,
I mean, I wanted to start a podcast. I tell you, Devin, all the time. I wanted to start a podcast like 10 years ago. Like, just never happened. And then like now, all of a sudden, things are just rolling. You know, my life is in a better place. I have more stuff to talk about. I'm meeting and networking with more people. So, like I said, I had all these plans a while back. Like when Devin he got on the podcast, he was like, "How are you so prepared?" I was like, "Bro, I'm telling you,
I've been thinking about
I've
this.
been ready for this."
Yeah.
And it's just like I said all the time. Like we can make our plans, but God will make our steps. So,
yeah.
So
I love it.
You just have to kind of take on what you're given, and you can't. It's hard to you want to question everything. Like when you are the type of person that you are, which is an entrepreneur mindset.
Yeah.
People like that can get like the term manic. Like they get anxiety. They want to be able to control their outcome, but in faith, you obviously have to slow down. You can't question. You understand you're in where you need to be at that time.
Right.
So, shout outs to you, man. I'm glad you
Appreciate it,
a believer of Christ and everything like that. That's awesome.
And you said there was the book Awake the Giant.
Yeah, it was Awaken the Giant by Tony Robbins, and there was another one also called Unlimited Power. Both those books were like life changing.
I kind of picked up that you said like you did exercises with it. Like, so I don't know these books. Are they? They're not real estate books.
No, just self development.
Okay.
So by Tony Robbins, he's like one of the most renowned self development coaches, mentors. You know, what would you call them? Life coach.
Yeah,
life coach guys. But they just have like little exercises like, you know, where do you see yourself in 5 years? All right, write it down, right? And then I remember one that was like, name the 3 richest people that you know.
I saw that.
And that's the one that kind of like, okay, real estate, oil. And I was like, I don't like oil at all, but I love real estate. So yeah, I was like, man, I'm going real estate. And then I think I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which kind of like dumbed down a lot of the terms and everything from real estate and assets and liabilities.
All in layman's terms.
Right.
Yeah,
and then so I could just, you know, absorb it a lot easier. And so it just got me thinking, man. Then I just started reading. And the more I read, the more proof of concepts were giving to me that these people actually did it. And then that would put into me a belief that I was like, I can do it, right? Because if I see somebody do it, I know I can do it. That's how I've always been. And over 5 years of just reading stuff like that, you know, my belief system is just like, fuck it. I know I'm ready to go. So when I was released, man, I was like, let's fucking go.
To the wall.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
One more. Sorry. Awaken the Giant. What made you, like, was this book handed by you someone in prison, or what made you? How did we get this book?
yeah, I was at a really bad unit called Mineral Wells, really bad Texas prison. We're always getting put on lockdown for some stupid stuff. Like, no telling what happened. But anyway, we're always in lockdown. Lockdown is where you can't move, you know, without a guard taking you to showers. Maybe that was about it. But you got to sit in your cell or sit on your bunk and can't do nothing. So anyway, at this particular prison, they let us go to the library, which they normally don't do. So I don't know why they did, but they let us go to the library. Maybe they thought we were going to be on lockdown for a long time. So they're like, okay, y'all need to go, go to the library. So y'all are crazy. So anyway, we went in there and I was looking at all the books, and I've never really been into like fake stuff, you know, fiction books.
Right.
You know, I've always been into more nonfiction, stuff like that. So I went to the nonfiction section, and I don't know, there wasn't very many pickings from, but I just went, I saw that book, it was pretty thick, and I was like, Awaken the Giant, sounds pretty cool. So grabbed that one, and that was it, man. So
That's all she wrote.
Do you remember the day? Like, I'm just because that's like a pivotal turning point. It's just crazy to know.
yeah,
like,
I do remember it. I mean, I don't remember the exact date,
Right, but you just, like,
yeah, I remember when.
Very
That's-
vivid in your, like, burned in.
Yeah, I know the unit I was in. I know the book, what it looked like, and everything. Like when I was reading it, doing the little exercise and stuff like that. So
Do you keep a copy today? Like, you have a copy of it?
yeah, I have it. But I have. So in prison we have like these little notepads. Yeah, I got like 5 of them stuffed full of all the notes from all the books, because when you're reading a lot of books in there, you have to lug it around with you, right? And you only have a locker that's like this big. So a bunch of books, I mean, you throw them under your bunk and stuff, but if you get like put on lockdown or searched or sent to another, you know, unit, you got to lug all this stuff around with you, right? And so what I would do is I would read it, summarize it, and put it all in the notes, the stuff that I wanted to remember, and I would mail the book home, so I wouldn't have to keep it, because I'm constantly getting books sent in. So, because you don't want to get stuck with a bunch of books and then you get shipped to another unit, because you're like, you got to take all this stuff and you're handcuffed, and it's just not good. So,
It's a pain in the ass to look around.
yeah, it's the worst.
So we're released out of prison. What's that feeling like, seeing your son for the first time?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he was coming. My mom would bring him to visitations.
Okay.
So, but yeah, for the first time seeing him, because we had been talking about it for so long. You know, he'll come up like once a year, depending on what unit I was at. I was down by Houston for a long time, so it was far from my mom. So maybe she would come twice a year, once or my birthday or something, or around Christmas she would bring him. But yeah, it was awesome, man, because we had been talking about like, oh, we're gonna see. And every time he'd come, we would always play like you would have to have quarters for the vending machines. So we'd have like a clear bag just stuffed full of quarters, and then we would like build stuff and build cars and houses and just, you know, whatever. And I just was like, man, I can't wait till I can just kick a ball with you, know, because he was like playing soccer, he's getting good at soccer and stuff. And then I surprised him that day at my mom's house.
Yeah.
He was like, oh my God, Daddy. He ran up, gave me a big hug. I picked him up, and we played soccer for like the rest of the day. And like for the next 2 weeks, basically, we played soccer outside in the driveway.
It's one of those feelings to me, like I've been in moments like that where it's just like you feel detached away from your body. Like
Yeah.
You're actually like videoing your life.
Yeah.
You can see yourself holding him, like in this out of body experience. I can only imagine after 7 years of, like, you know,
Yeah.
he was born while you were in there, or no?
No, he was
So
2 when I went
he
in.
was 2 when you went in.
9.
That's a lot of growth.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That's a baby that
That's-
can't talk, can't hardly walk.
Exactly.
You know, like a kid that's,
Exactly.
you know, can give you some attitude.
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. But like I said, you know, I got shipped up to Michael's unit. It was closer to Dallas. So that last year, like I was getting more visitation. So
it was a little bit easier.
yeah, because I got so many set-offs, I put in for a hardship because I was so far away.
Gotcha.
And then you put in for a hardship and they transfer you to a unit closer. And so they did that. And then I made parole.
Nice.
But I was seeing my son more regularly, so which I think helped also for the transition out.
So, segueing into kind of transitioning into society, how did you aggressively find your network? of where your field is now in realty. So did you start with knowing that you were going to flip or get into something else when it came to this?
Or like, what was your plan out of prison? Like, because
Yeah,
you knew you
it's
wanted to
like-
do real estate.
It's like, how do you even know where to attack? You know, I mean, obviously books
Yeah.
teach you certain things, but it's not talking about Dallas, Texas, or it's not talking
Yeah.
about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a great question. So my plan of attack was I had a lot of knowledge from books, right, on just whatever it is, but I didn't know like technical things, like how to negotiate with the contractors or how much to even pay them. Like,
Right.
I don't know, you know, like, do you know how much you should pay them to like lay tile or hang sheetrock? You know?
Yeah, no, you're
You're
right.
like, fuck,
100%, yeah.
and I read it, but I mean, I don't remember what it
Yeah.
was. You know, I might have it in my notebook, but it's like, damn, $15 per sheet. I'm like, oh, let me go look. You know? But still, it differs all around. You know, so
area, yeah.
so anyway, I didn't know that, so I was like, I need to flip a house to get the construction experience because actually, all real estate books that I read, not all, but I would say 90% of the real estate books that I read were commercial real estate, and it's crazy because I'm still doing residential real estate. But even in the commercial real estate, I was wanting to do a bunch of repositions and value add stuff, and that involved construction. So that was my first plan of attack when I got out was I need to learn construction. So I was like, I need to flip a house. You know, it's pretty much the most easy to get into, you know, fresh out. So, and it's still not easy, but it's the easiest,
Yes,
you know.
sir.
So I get out and I'm like, fuck yeah, I can listen. I listen to all the podcasts, Bigger Pockets, all the YouTube, and now I have access to all the books, real estate development, flipping, all the books. I can select them, you know, and like actually look through there. Yeah, it's like when you're in prison, you don't know what's you don't even know what's out there. You just like send me real estate books, and then you got like your grandma sending you a real estate book, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh fuck, this isn't what I needed, but I'll read it. You know, I got nothing else to
anything
do.
helps, right?
So I read all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
But now I could like actually pick out like, okay, I need to learn this one. You know what I mean? So.
For sure.
So I picked it out, read that, and then I was also like just talking to people, you know, my network, you know. I had a plan of like, oh, I didn't have any money. I got $150 when I got out. So I was going to ask my grandpa. He owned like 4 or 5 rental homes, maybe 6. He had some money. He's retired. I was going to ask him for a $50,000 loan when I got out, right? And he actually died right before I got out. And he left the money to my dad, got the most of it. My sister got some of it. And then I got like a small little bit of it. And so I asked, so I got out. And then, well, first, I started talking to my network, and I found people that were most receptive to me, right? You know, you like just bond with people. They knew I was about real estate because that's what I made my mind up to do. I had to have a job. I was doing logistics, but I was talking about real estate. That's what I wanted. So one of my best friends, while I was gone, he used to work for Verizon, and I guess he started flipping homes while I was the 7 years I was gone. So he had flipped a bunch of homes, and he was still actively doing real estate, flipping homes. So, and he's also one of my closest friends, and he was the most receptive to like what I was saying, you know. And I asked him a question, you could tell he was genuinely like, yeah, you know, and spend time with me, try to get me to understand it, and wanted to see me in the industry, right? So that's kind of how all that started. And I told him, like, man, I want to flip a house. You know, I was like, I can get the money. I talked to my sister. I was like, hey, you know, I want to get into real estate. You know, I use my money, and then if you can loan me some of the money from you, you know, or give me all your money.
I'll make you rich.
So yeah, she was like, you know, she was up for it. She didn't say no. So I was like, all right. And you could tell by my demeanor that I was different, that I talked about real estate. Like I wanted to be successful. I wasn't acting crazy.
Like, all right, shut up.
Yeah.
Right here.
So that was my first plan of attack, was to get into a flip. So my buddy helped me find a flip house. He actually had flipped 2 homes on that same street, and he found another one. And for some reason, he didn't want to do it. So I ended up buying that from him and paying him like an $8,000 finder's fee for it. Bought it for $200,000, borrowed the money from my sister, paid it, and I think I put 40 grand into it, borrowed that from her too as well, and sold it for like $320. But when it was all said and done, I made $53,000, and I paid her back plus interest on her money. Well, what do I do next? Because, you know, I don't like to sit around.
Find the next one.
I find another one, right? Because I learned a lot. But my buddy still held my hand, kind of. You know, he's there. I mean, which was awesome. And I didn't have to pay him. He was just, you know, He just knew what to do because he'd done 2 on the street. So he was like, oh, yeah, on that one I did this. And then I would review what he did. I looked at his listings and shit. So, and he helped me with the contractors and all that stuff. So that's kind of what got me into it. So anyway, borrowed the money again, bought another one. Yep. This one was on a street called Munger in Dallas. Well, they had just started building these townhomes, really nice townhomes, 4-story townhomes, rooftops. And I bought this little crack house. They had squatters in it. It was bad. And I was going to flip it. Well, they hadn't started building next to me, so I really didn't know what they were going to build. It was just like blank land. Yeah, but you could tell they put up forms. I didn't know what that was, but they put up forms right before they're going to build. And I went and talked to the builder, like, hey, what are you guys about to build here? And he showed me the rendering of it. And I was like, man, that's fucking badass. It was like a modern duplex, 4-story. It looked like fresh out of Miami or something. Yeah. I was like, man, that's fucking badass. Yeah. I was like, I want to do this. I own this one right here. And I was like, I want to build those. Okay, I have no clue how to build anything. Yeah. I don't come from a construction background. I come from a drug dealing background. I mean, I have no clue what the fuck, right? I flipped one house. Okay, my buddy held my hand, so. Yeah. So anyway, so here I am back at square one. Like, damn, I got to build something because I cannot put this money. I was going to put 75 grand into this house, and it was still maybe going to turn it into 2-story, but it's not going to be 4-story. It's not going to look like that. Yeah. Look at the house. You're like, yeah, you're going to be a sore thumb on this street if I do that. So it's either A, sell the lot that I just got to a builder, or build it myself. I mean, I ain't got nothing to lose. I'm out of prison maybe like 5-6 months maybe. So I'm like, fucking, I want to build. Yeah. I want to build that fucking thing. That shit was badass. Right? Like, and not to mention, like, I was gone so long, like, I'm driving through the neighborhood, and dude, everybody's building. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, this whole neighborhood is fucking these townhomes. Yeah. So I'm like, if everybody can do it, I mean, I definitely can do it, right? I mean, I got plans to build, huge commercial shit. That's what I was reading. Mm-hmm. So anyway, fast forward, I got it figured out, got a hard money lender. My buddy that helped me with that flip, I said, hey, look, I own the land. You help me build this thing. Like, I need you just to help me figure it out. We can do it. I know we can do it. I'll do everything I can do. You just help me. I said, we'll split it 50-50. He was like, fuck, I don't know. And then sure enough, like 2-3 weeks later, he was like, man, I've been doing a lot of research on this. I think we can do it, man. I was like, all right, well, I still own the land, so we need to like hurry up and do something because like I can't just sit on this thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, we got the plans made. I talked to that other builder. I said, hey, who's your architect? I called her. Like, I own the land right next to this one. You give me a price on a discount on the plans since you already got it made. I want something really similar. She was like, yeah, instead of $5,000, I'll give you $3,500. So I got the plans, got all the architect figured out. Me and my buddy, we figured all that shit out. Got the lending situated. We get all down to the construction loan. We're about to sign the papers for the loan, for the construction loan. And they found out I just got out of prison. And they said no. They said, you can't do it. I'm like, fuck. You serious? Right. Yeah. Most people just be like, oh, maybe they quit, but not me. I'm going to fucking keep going. Okay. What do I do now? They say no to me. But did they say no to my sister? Let me switch. Sounds important. Yeah, let me switch everything to my sister's name and run it through a different hard money lender. So that's what I did, man. And got around that. Fucking got the loan, closed. And ended up buying the land next to me and the land on the other side and built 6 townhomes. Ended up making $500,000 on that. To me.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So shout out sis. It sounds like she's the most pivotal piece in the early stages of Crutchfield construction.
Definitely.
And is she well taken care of now? I guess it's what
Yep, she's good.
That's awesome, brother. So
and you said that was on Munger Street?
Yeah, a street called Munger in Dallas. It's a MF2 zoning, so there's a bunch of like multifamily townhome style stuff over there. I don't build there anymore because I mainly build like multi-million-dollar single families. But yeah, that's where I cut my teeth over there, man. Learn the ropes.
And that started from that to now you do have your own customs
homes. Yeah, Crutchfield Custom Homes. Yeah, we build multi-million-dollar homes now, single family homes, like super nice. Yeah.
Damn. And
getting into Crutchfield Construction, like, how do you gain the confidence to start saying, like, damn, I gotta make a company? Because it's you grew up, like you said, cutting your teeth, doing it
Yeah.
yourself and your buddy from Verizon.
Right.
Or buddy that was working at Verizon.
And he had never built anything new.
So y'all were just brand new to it all.
Yeah.
And now y'all
And we figured it out. He
started.
started a company, you know, we ran it through his company, and like,
So now, like, y'all sitting on this money. Obviously, you're not going to stop. So it's like, where do you make that decision of like, now I'm going to build a team around me? Like,
yeah.
right?
Right.
The next step?
So yeah, I built that, sold it, and like, I'm still like crazy wanting to grow and invest. Like, I didn't spend no money. Like,
Gotcha.
I didn't go buy McLarens, Rolexes, nothing. My partner, he went and bought a Bentley and a Rolex. Yeah, he's living it up. But I mean, I just spent 7 years in prison. Like, I'm fucking like, this
Basic.
500 grand ain't shit. I want like 500 million. You know what I mean? That's where my mind was, because I was just so focused on it. And I was like, dude, I mean, I've been living in a cell. Like, I'm already good, you know?
Yeah.
So I could sacrifice longer. But so I was just dumping money back into things. So I actually, after those, I bought another piece of land right behind Munger on Delano, and we built 5 units, same partner. And then I bought 3 more land lots around, like, a little bit, it was further away, but it was single family. And those were my first $1 million properties, which we sold for like 1 million and 1.1 million. I think I sold one for like 980 or something. So they're all basically around $1 million. So yeah, I went straight into the townhome development where I made the 500 grand. Then I built the 5-unit townhomes, and that one was more. It was commercial because it was 5 units, and it's 1 to 4 residential, and then commercial goes 5 and up.
Gotcha.
So it was different codes. Took too long to build. It was a pain in the ass. So that's why I haven't really explored that again. And then I built the $3 million homes, and like those were like the easiest ones to build and the most profitable. So that's kind of why, you know, I hit the ground running with like it was my second flip, turned into new construction. And then I went right into the $1 million homes not soon after that. And once I started seeing the numbers and seeing the profits, I was just like, shit.
This is where I need to be.
Yes. And my partner, he's not like as motivated. His ambition isn't as ambitious as me. So like, you know, I want.
Sounds like y'all balance each other out a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So I'm like, dude, you know, we sold 3 of these, you know, we made fucking 6 figures on each one. Like, how do we do 30 at a time now? Right.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck, I don't want to build 30 of these things, you know? I'm like, so we kind of went our separate ways there.
Gotcha.
So then all I know is I was like, all right, well, I just kept buying land, because now I have the experience, and now the lenders will loan to me. Right.
Yeah, they're like book of business now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and I'm there every day, and I built, you know, six duplexes plus a 5-unit plus 3 single family. So I know all the numbers. I know all the contractors. Like, I know everybody, and now I can leverage that.
Yeah.
So then I bought a piece of land, and I bought a few pieces of land, but I got a really good deal right around that same neighborhood where I built the $1 million homes at. And it was my first one that I did on my own, but it was my personal home.
I was about to ask you.
So I was like,
get your own little
yeah. So I kind of was like, all right, let me just fucking do it on my personal home. And then if it fucks up, I mean, you know, if it comes out good, then yeah, cool. And I know I can do it.
Exactly.
But I didn't wait around. I kept buying. I was building multiple at the same time. But yeah, anyway, my home came out badass, and it's fucking A1. Everybody comes over, is like, damn. And I did that like 2.5 years out of prison, and it's fucking still a sick ass
Really
house.
nice house.
Yeah, so.
Bro, that's the definition of an entrepreneur if I've ever heard.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I'm just gonna start with this. But then all of a sudden, I just started kept going. I
Yeah,
couldn't stop.
I built 7 on my same street that I live on.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
That's awesome.
it was cool.
Do
One-
those homeowners know? Like,
yeah, I know. I stop and talk to them and shit. So
that's fantastic.
Were you more critical building your own home than you were building other homes?
I mean, yeah, because it was the first one that. So my old partner, man, we're still best friends. I was with him last night, but he's like detail oriented. I'm like visionary. Like, I don't really give a fuck about small detail shit. I just like, okay, how are we gonna make $500 million, right?
Right.
He's more like nuts and bolts, figuring shit out, right? So when I lost him, and we went our separate ways. I'm like, fuck, I'm not that person. It's going to take effort to become that person, right? Yeah. And I was really nervous. I remember back then I was like, man, fuck, I need to be this person, because he would catch things early on and I'll wait and fucking have to cut open the sheetrock to fix the shit, right? But he would have already caught it like way before. That's just me, because I'm thinking of how to, get big and big.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have different styles of building, but you can still build, But yeah, I had to pay a little bit closer to details, so which is fine. But now I'm not as nervous about that shit. Like now I know everything. And now all my workers know what to expect. I know what to expect from them, so I know what to check. And then I've had so many, and where I learned most of all this shit is from when you sell a home. The buyer gets a buyer's inspection report, and that asshole is going to come in and tear this fucking house apart.
He loves that.
And that is where I fucking learned everything. Oh, yeah. So that's where all the experience comes in. So once you go through a few of those, you're like, all right, asshole.
Do you have one inspector that
you
see their name?
Bro, yes, there's a couple of them. You're like, fuck. You walk in and like they're not even supposed to do cosmetic stuff. I walked in one house and it was blue tape everywhere. I was like, what the fuck? You're not even supposed to do cosmetic shit. Like, what the fuck? So, but yeah, I became more detailed after all that shit that I went through.
So you're probably aware, like, you're good with all the trades then, of what it takes to build a home. As far but is there like a trade that was hard for you to really understand what to look out for when it comes to certain things?
I mean, I still like don't know what to look for on like plumbing and electrical and HVAC. I'm like, all these wires. I mean, I got an idea now, but man, you just hire the pros, man. Let the pros do their work. You know what I mean? It's like going to the doctor or dentist. You know what I mean? Are you gonna know what the dentist's gonna do to you?
Not really. Yeah, you get your.
He's gonna pay him, and he's a pro, and you expect he's gonna do his job.
Yeah.
So the same thing in development. You hire the pros, and they're gonna do their job. And then you can also get inspectors to inspect them. So if you want to, so now what I do is I get my inspection report prior to selling the home. So they're gonna come. So I get the asshole. Now he's on my team. I say, go fucking do your thing, right? And then I fix everything. And then the buyer's inspector's like, oh damn, it's a nicely built home.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's how you beat that now.
Gotcha. So like I said, I do look at. So like when I start a job and like when you'll start a home build like that, do you typically, I know like my side, I like to work with the same people over and over, but like it doesn't always work out that way. Is that kind of the same way in that, or you really just get your same people?
I mean, you got to build a team, right? I mean, anything, build a soccer team, basketball team, football team, whatever. You're gonna have some better players than none, or the rest, right? So just build your team, and starting out, you don't really know, so you got to go through a lot of bad players, and so yeah, I drop people and I keep people, but now at the point where I'm at, I got a lot of A-team players where I know what to expect, they know what to expect, and so they're not going to get their checks unless they do what they're going to do, So, and still, I still butt heads with them, and like,
oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but it's all over.
I mean,
I do the same thing with my house.
It's part of it.
Yeah,
It's a love-hate relationship.
it is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so, like, when you say you got the A-team now, like, you went through your things, were you holding on to houses longer? Were houses being built, taking longer to build now? Or are you kind of like on like a streamlined, we know what the hell we're doing type stuff?
It's just like tile guys or plumbers, once you have a fucking devastating plumbing leak,
oh yeah,
you're going to get a new plumber, right?
Yeah.
So I had a couple of those happen, and like, I still have yet to find a badass plumber, honestly. That's like not crazy as fuck.
I'll tell you how my license.
Yeah, if you're a Dallas market, you got lots of experience, and you can speak English, call me.
That has to be the biggest challenge for sure, because there's a lot of Hispanics in Texas for sure speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find plumber. I'll tell you, I got my plumber's license, but you don't want me doing your stuff. I promise you. You don't want me doing it.
And we're building multi-million-dollar homes, man, and I don't. And also, if you are looking to get in real estate development, make sure these type of guys are insured and bonded, because shit happens. I mean, you could still have the best of best, and some of the glue might have been old and it pops open or whatever it is. It's not clamped correctly. So just make sure they're insured. I did have a pretty bad leak like a week before closing, and fucking fucked my floors up pretty bad, and I've had to rush to get it fixed. And I paid for it all out of my own pocket, but his insurance did come back and pay me. So that was cool.
Maintain a relationship there.
Yeah, I kept him around.
So all of this, prison, before prison, out of prison, well, I'm hearing a lot of, you're doing a lot of this solo. Like, you had a lot of help, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But in the thick of things, you're by yourself, right?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing somebody that wants to sit and lead people. There's a pivot here now, recently, where you pivoted to a leadership type of mindset. Where does that come from? Like, I know people started hitting you up and things like that, but where's that inside feeling of like, now I'm leading people to teach them the steps that you wanted?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Honestly, I've just been drawn now to kind of the teaching and the coaching thing.
Yeah, and is it a good, like, was it something that like you were hesitant about doing? Like, did you feel uncomfortable, or did it?
Yeah, I felt uncomfortable. That first masterclass that I hosted, like get up and speaking, like that is not my thing. I do not want to speak. Even talking, like I don't even like talking, honestly. I'd rather just sit and chill and small talk. I hate. Like I want to talk business. I want to talk progress, growth, things that are gonna get me to the next level. That's the things that can get me talking, right?
Right.
If we're just talking about like fucking weather and shit, I'm like, I'll tune out.
Yeah.
People are probably like, what's wrong with this guy?
No,
You just think about your next move. You think about your next move.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, I spent a lot of time around like a lot of entrepreneurs that own. So I'm in the sign manufacturing business, and a lot of sign manufacturers, like they're small business owners, and like they're all of the same of just guys that they don't like small talk. They're all about just getting to the next thing.
Right.
Like, how do we get to the next month of revenue?
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
That's all it's
Talk
about.
to me about numbers, because like every time I come on, I'm the vice president, so the president is the owner. Every time we're sitting at a meeting, he's just like, I swear to God, this motherfucker talks to me about something small.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm in this for one reason. Like, I just need to hear this one word.
Yeah.
So I get it, man. I do think that's a common thing when you sit at the level that you're sitting at, that you surround yourself with those type of people, because there's no bullshit. Like, we're not here to bullshit. We're here to get things done and make sure we're taking care of our goals and our visions.
Exactly.
So
I've wasted enough of my life, you know what I
There's
mean?
no doubt.
I don't want to fucking waste no more.
there's no doubt about that.
And
So,
how long have you been coaching now or teaching mentoring?
I just started the master class in January, like
Okay.
28th was my first one ever. But then I just started mentorship and coaching, I think like 80 days ago. So like July, August.
how many students do you have now?
We got a bunch, I don't know the exact count of students, but they're coming in all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Are you gonna,
I'm pretty busy on the
I was
phone.
gonna say, you're gonna try to slow that down by like kind of
Yeah, I'm gonna have
doing
to.
blocks, at least time blocks.
It's already at time blocks, but we're doing one-on-ones, so we're gonna have to move somehow to. So the mentorship program, they normally get like 12 calls with me,
Okay,
and then after that they fall off into a group setting.
gotcha.
So it's getting to where I don't know how many one-on-one calls I can handle, right?
Yes,
I mean, I'm only one man, and I don't want to work 80 hours a week, so it's
Yeah.
like I might have to transfer them into some sort of group somehow, or just charge more for the one-on-ones and then have a group and then something like that, or I don't know how we're gonna work it out, but I got a team and we'll figure all that stuff out.
Right.
Right now, just enjoying the journey, man, and helping people. I had last week. Did we talk about that? 2 students got permits.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Is
it's fulfilling, man. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's giving you your next gust of wind. Honestly, I mean, like.
And I didn't think I would,
Yeah.
you know, but and even talking my last master class, it was like I felt way more comfortable, you know.
Good.
I don't know if I get on stage and speak to shit on October
18th.
on October 18th I'm gonna be on stage, so fuck, here we go.
Yeah.
I'll try it out.
Yeah, you'll
But
be fine.
that's
We'll be all right, man. When we talk about things like that I know about, you know, it's not that difficult. Like I talk real estate all day with whoever, you know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt.
It's just it's me. So
Talk about work-life balance. Is there any currently, or is there some coming up? But I know
It's
in your world,
tough,
it sounds
man.
like your work-life balance can be a little chaotic at times.
it's just I don't really see work-life balance. I just see like life. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I'll be with my son, I'll be texting a student, or I'll be looking at plans, or we'll be looking at houses together, or you know what I mean? We'll go to the movies and we'll watch a movie and I'll fall asleep. You know? I mean, it's
I went with me and my wife.
Bro. Once my brain is trying to focus on something other than
Yeah.
what I want, it's like
That's all.
out. Like all the way up until I'm going to bed, I'm like dealing with real estate or my goals and my future.
Bro, you don't go to bed because you text
Yeah.
me or you message me at 2 a.m. I was like, and then at 8 a.m.
I don't sleep very much. I mean, it's like I said, man. I just wasted so much of my life. It's like I like to work. I like to be up. You know what I mean? I don't see like waking up as drudgery. Like I'm like, dude, I'm free. I'm happy. Like this is dope. Like go jump in my McLaren, you know?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, no.
I mean, jump in the Lambo. I don't know what I'm gonna drive, but shit. I mean, yeah, it's exciting to wake up now. You know?
How do you balance your days? Because like, I mean, you're doing the one-on-ones now. You obviously have a couple projects that you're working on yourself, like for your own.
That's a good question, man. I never really been structured. I don't really like structure and schedules. Like I say, I'm visionary type of person. I like to just move and do my own thing.
Okay.
But I know that businesses are built on processes and systems, and you got to have some structure. And if that's not me, then I need somebody to implement that structure. 100%. So I've noticing a lot more of like, especially with my students and that business, it's way more structured. I have to have a calendar where everything's got to be done. You know, I can't miss calls. Like I don't miss calls. So I'm definitely becoming more structured, which is cool. But I still like to just like move my own motion. Yeah, I like doing my own thing.
He's a gym rat. And so like, I think Devin, one of your questions.
Well, I just want to know, like, you obviously I was going through Instagram. You work out still and everything like that.
Yeah, I try to work out every morning.
So it's a morning thing. I'm a night person.
I was a night person, and then I started like going in the morning. I don't know.
Like people tell me.
Well, I take my son to school, and then I would just go, and I like just get it out the way. You know, I think I was missing some more than I had liked in the evening because my girl would be like, "Let's go to dinner" or something, and then I would work too long, and then whatever. I'm all right. Fuck the gym. Always got pushed to the side. So then I was like, "Fuck it." Oh, and I think my girl started coming with me too to the gym, and it's like, all right, I gotta like teach her, so I'm not really going hard, So I was like, all right, I'll go with you to the gym in the evening. And I got up early and I went to the gym on my own so I could really get my shit in.
I got you.
So without taking all the weights off and her doing the bar and then putting all my shit back on. So yeah, that's how that started.
Okay. Well, I've always wondered, just like my own personal life, me and my wife, we working on trying to have a kid. I know you got kids and you got like a family, you got things. And I know you keep the gym. That's something I've always wanted to make sure I keep for myself is gym. But I just curious that you make it a point to go to the gym.
I have to, man. Like it's like work. Since wrestling in high school, if I don't go to the gym, I'm like, I feel weird. It's like my therapy, Some people might go get massages or read or watch movies. Like I don't do that. I'd go to the gym.
You shut that daily grind off for a second.
Yeah.
You get a chance to just, I don't know if your brain goes quiet, but maybe it does.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to have.
I play music. I don't listen. I've been starting to listen to podcasts now, but I still like to listen to some music.
Yeah, for sure.
The gym I go to, it's really hard to listen to headphones on, so they blare the music. Right. And I like that because sometimes I forget my headphones. Or they're dead, and I'm like, yeah, fuck, it don't matter. We got good music on.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
So, are you one of those like them sweat gyms that ain't got the AC on or anything?
No, but in Miami, I'm going to. I'm going to go to one of those. It's called Boxer, man. It's a really cool gym there.
Dope. And so are you going to be living out in Miami?
I'll be back and forth.
Back and forth, okay. So the family's going to stay in Texas, or for the most part.
Well, my
son's
got
the academy, right?
So for sure, next 2 years, I got to be.
Yeah, you got to have him here.
Or really 3 because he's a freshman.
So that was one question I want to bring up. You going to Miami, so that means like, are all your students, they're only in Dallas, or is this system or coaching that you do, they can work all over?
Oh, I got students everywhere. I got students in San Antonio, Austin. I talked to like 4 students last week about Austin. Yeah, they're everywhere. Chicago, Florida, Phoenix. Got a bunch of them in Phoenix, actually. California. Shit, they're all over the place. And a lot of them are in Dallas, too. But Houston.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy. Like, it feels like real estate has to run out, but it never will.
It never is going to run out.
That's the craziest part.
And I teach new construction, which I don't even know if anybody else does teach new construction,
Gotcha. I was going to ask you, what separates your classes from others?
I teach like luxury development.
Okay.
So my whole thing is like, how do you make 6 to 7 figures on one deal, right?
Gotcha.
And that's kind of what I've built my business on, and that's kind of like all I know, because that second one was,
Yeah.
I mean, 6-figure
Changed
profits
your
basically
life.
on
Yeah.
each one.
Yeah.
If not, it was like almost 100 grand, you know.
That's dope.
So
Anyone trying to become a student, how would they? Because honestly, I might be interested. Like, how do you do this?
yeah, so I got Instagram, Eric Epic 23. It's also YouTube, Eric Epic 23, and I think both of them have my bio in there. And you click the link in the bio. You can either schedule a call, or you can just DM me and I'll send you the link, or yeah, DM me Builder.
Yeah.
Either way, and we'll get you on the program, man. I can coach you. I'll help you with like finding. First, we're gonna start with how much money you have to invest. If you
Yeah.
don't have any money to invest, I can also help you get business funding. We need you to have like a 670 credit score and above, and then I can get you business funding. So then I can get you credit cards. We can take the money off the credit cards to get you into your first new construction build, and from there, I'll help you find the land. However much money we get you, or however much money you want to start with, I'll help you find the neighborhood around where you are with the highest profit potential. So say you're starting with 50 grand. There's some ratios that fits within. So if you have 50 grand, we can leverage that with a lender. So maybe like $80,000 to $100,000 worth of dirt. And then from there, that home should be 350 to 450 that you're selling it for. So that's kind of how I start. I would say you had 50 grand. I would start looking at new construction homes in the area, selling for around 450,000, 400,000, and then I would try to find land for around that $80,000 mark. So yeah, I can do it anywhere. If they're building houses around you, I can teach you how to do it. And then we're gonna find a lot. I'm gonna help you with all the underwriting. We'll look for multiple lots. I'll choose which one has the highest profit potential, and then I'll help you with the lending. Hook you up with my preferred lenders, which should be good to go because you're a student. And yeah, I'll pull all the data for you. We'll get CMAs, which is a like comparable market analysis, and then we'll look at the data. We'll look and see the new constructions in the area, how many days they've been on market, and we'll basically replicate the ones that were on the market the least and sold the fastest, but we'll put a twist on it. So we're building off of data. We're not really going out into the market speculating. Like, I want to build for the highest probable chance of success.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it's how my framework works and helps people, coaches people.
And that, is there like I would assume there's some failures in this. As far as like, if some failures in real estate, like not just you, but anybody in general, I'm sure there's some. So does this like help mitigate that when you say you're using data and you're using more as analytics to make sure that you mitigate that risk as much as possible?
Yeah, because if you're new to real estate, you're not gonna know much, and you're not gonna have much knowledge on it, and you're gonna have a shitload of questions.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Well, I'm right here. That's all I do every single day. I still build to this day. I'll still be building fucking 5 years from now, right? Because it's easy for me now, and I make a ton of money off of it. So why not? So yeah, I'm here. Jump on a call with me. We'll fucking answer all the questions. I give you like bullet points. Hey, you need to do this. Moving forward the next week before our next call, do this, and that. And then the next call, we'll go over all the information you gathered from it. And then I'll say, all right, this is what we need to do now. Let's do this. Also, watch out for this, watch out for that, watch out for this, because it fucked me on this build and that build and that build. And we'll navigate all that like that.
That's impressive, honestly. And is there like, so when they purchase your class, obviously you said you get 12 calls.
Yeah.
Like, is there like I don't want to say like a time limit, but like, do you ever like eventually your students, I guess, go on their own, or is that the plan, or what is the plan at the end of it? Like, where you
so after the calls, you don't just get dropped off, you get moved into the group.
Mm-hmm.
So then you still have access to me, you still have your communications channel that's set up at the beginning, and then we'll just be doing on group calls from then on out. But yeah, the goal is to teach you everything to where you don't need me anymore. After your first deal, I want you to understand all the numbers, how to find land, how to find your lending, because now you got one that's sold, successful. Now you leverage that. Now you have the relationship with the lender. You don't need me anymore. So that's the goal, is to like just teach people, and
I like that.
What is it about the fish?
Oh, you teach a man to fish,
Feed him for a day.
Yeah.
Or if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Exactly.
Thanks.
That's
That's what I'm
dope.
trying to do.
And then, what was I going to ask? It was about, oh, the dope feeling I think that's coming with this is that you were talking about networks and these group calls. You're probably going to start hearing about your group calls, people in those groups spinning off and having their own little network of
Yeah.
your group. So that'll be a cool chain reaction to see. I bet is like
Yeah.
they get off these calls and they're still talking to each other because they're in Phoenix together,
Yeah.
they're in Austin together, they're
Yeah.
in San Antonio together. That'll be a good feeling, man. Like you're gonna chain this chain reaction.
Yeah, it's
is
pretty
starting.
cool, man. Like I said, it all started just from the demand that I was getting already.
Definitely.
Yeah, from people asking me. So I didn't put it together. It kind of just organically grew.
Yeah.
So
And so to segue out of that, just because I'm curious, if I'm Tony Robbins and I have you do an exercise and I ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What is that answer look like with Eric?
man, I've achieved a lot in 5 years. So I know the next 5 years are gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
But it's definitely gonna be building like large commercial deals. But also, I'll still be doing residential. Right now, I'm moving from building $1 to $3.2 million homes to $5 to $8 million homes. So in 5 years, though, who knows? That's kind of why I'm going to Miami also to like
Yeah.
test the Florida waters.
Yep.
And then I'll probably be doing like $10 to $15 million homes, maybe $20 million homes.
Nice.
So I'll definitely not be where I'm at right now, though.
Yeah.
You'll be better.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
It's because
And you seem like a man who's calculated with his decision making. So you say Miami. I assumed you researched other places. What
Yeah,
made it Miami?
Well, for one, I'm drawn to Florida. I love the water. I love the weather. A goal that I haven't got yet is owning my own yacht. So that's kind of like the next one that's about to get hit within like the next year, probably next summer. I'll probably get it. Right now, I just charter them when I want, but yeah, I want to have a yacht out there and I want to have a house, and that's kind of where I see myself, and then just build dope ass houses out there, and who knows, what I'll do after that. But that's where I picture myself at the moment.
That would be stupid. I wouldn't even know what to do with myself.
I know. Just enjoy
That's
life,
awesome. That's true, yeah.
So I'm headed out there and actually right after the 18th, or it's actually on the 17th, I think. Yeah,
The conference
because I
on the
fly
17th.
out on the 18th.
Nice.
Yeah,
Look at him. Going to Miami. Throwing
Yeah.
his hand.
back and forth all the time.
That's awesome, man. Eric, man, we'll get you out of here, but I really appreciate you coming by. And shout out Traveris, big time for setting this up. We truly, truly appreciate you. Your story is going to touch a lot of people, not only in real estate. It's impactful everywhere. You're a person that has been dealt with some self-inflicting trials early on.
Yeah,
before prison.
definitely. Probably all of them.
Yeah. And you're a person that has gone through a lot of tribulations in life that people can relate to. It doesn't have to be prison.
Yeah.
It can be setbacks. And you're
And that's why I'm
somebody
here, to try to get people out of that wrong path early,
Yes.
because I've already done it, and I have a kid, so it's kind of just like, man, you don't got to go through all that shit. Just change now, get your mind right now, start reading, educating yourself, whatever it is you want to do. I mean, everything is there. All the resources are there. Even the mentorship stuff, that wasn't around when I got out, even 5 years ago. That's kind of a new phenomenon that's everybody's easily accessible now. If you want to get into fucking, carpet making, I'm sure there's somebody out there who can teach you pretty easily. You just shoot them a DM, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happened here. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
You're talking about easy access,
Everything.
We do not know each other.
So now if you can
answer the call.
if you can just use those resources wisely and to get you closer to your dreams and goals and not push them farther away with your dumbass actions, because there's so much distractions out here, so much vices, so much stuff like that. Is it women or drugs or alcohol or, whatever it is, put that stuff down, man. Just focus and be a good person and go after your dreams and your goals and do things that are actually going to get you closer to that. So,
Absolutely. I'm fired up. I know that. The whole time you were talking, I was just like, man, it's inspiring. Even, and people need to understand something. Even if you don't want the big money dreams, it's still just about moving forward.
Right.
Taking every
Yeah.
step to get to where you want. You want a simple life, that's cool, but it's
Yeah.
still going to take some work, and it's still going to take some, like you said, manifesting. It's going to take where do you see yourself in this simple life 5 years from now? How do you get to a simple life if it's not simple?
exactly.
And so, Keep it up, brother. You're touching a lot of people's lives. Even you've got close to 900,000 followers on a lot of platforms, and so that's a lot of people that you're reaching out to.
Yeah, we got a lot. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate y'all having me on here.
Of course. Devin, you got anything else?
Just go follow him.
Follow
Eric Epic 23.
Absolutely. And we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I like to end it by saying, love everybody in this room, which I truly do, even though I know y'all feel like strangers. Love is a positive thing. So I love everybody in this room. Love everybody out there. And we'll finish with like toodles there. That's it. We're out.